We had a wild weekend in college basketball, and now we're down to the final four teams in the NCAA Tournament with those matchups set for this Saturday. I'm Megan Rochester with SBRpicks.com, and here joining me now is expert NCAA basketball handicapper Dave Golokhov to talk over early totals lines picks for this Michigan State versus Duke matchup. Dave, thanks so much for being back with us today.
It's good to be here, Megan.
All right, now, Dave, it's not a huge surprise we are seeing these two teams in this spot. We've got two excellent coaches and squads here. This line opened up at 140, but has since already dropped 1.5 points and now sits at 138.5 in most sports books. Both teams have proven they can do really big things with their offensive games, but Michigan State has also proven how capable their defense is of holding teams back. I'm just not sure about this one, Dave. How do you see this game playing out?
If you look at how these two teams played in the State Farm Champions Classic earlier this year, and you believe that the same pattern plays out, then I think you're betting an over. Obviously, there's a lot of points in that game. 81-71 was the final. Got a total of about 140 here. So if you like that pattern of play and think it happens again, then obviously you like the over. Now you start breaking down why that game was high scoring. Michigan State shot 50% from the field. Duke shot 54%, while also hitting 7 of their 14 three-pointers. And I think one of the main reasons why you're probably betting over in this spot here is because you think that Jahlil Okafor, like in that first meeting, is not going to be stopped. And I think that's a valid point there, is that Michigan State didn't really have anybody that could match up with him then, and they don't have anyone now, and they're probably going to use a committee. But at any rate, with Duke, if their offense is to get going, it really starts and ends with Okafor. He had, I think he had 18 in his first matchup against Michigan State, and if he's a beast on the inside, like he was then, like he's been in the tournament and opening up the perimeter for Duke, then they're probably going to be scoring at a healthy rate. Michigan State's going to be forced to catch up or play catch up. So I think if you're looking at the over, you're looking at how these two teams played the first time, how they both shot, and how Okafor really led the Duke offense. So I think those are the three key factors to somebody who's betting an over in this spot.
Okay, now let's talk about the under here. Michigan State has done an excellent job during this tournament of holding teams to their minimal scoring. So what do you think about this under here, Dave?
I think if you're betting the under, then yeah, exactly. You're banking on Michigan State's defense continuing to dominate, and I think that's a fair point. I think the other point that's worth noting is that these two teams are completely different or somewhat varied from their first meeting this season. I mean, that game for Michigan State was their second of the year. I think also for Duke it was their second, but in any case, very early on in the season, this could be very different. Michigan State's defense has been incredible in the tournament. You take a look at who they've stifled and how they've done it. They held Georgia to 33%. In the first round, Virginia to 29%. In the second round, Oklahoma just 36.4%, and then Louisville 35.9%. I mean, if Duke's under 40% here, you got to figure that this is an under. And by all accounts, Michigan State's defense has been that good. So I think really that's the key. And they just have to find a way to stop Okafor. The other factor here is that Duke has a bunch of freshmen, and they rely on a group of freshmen who've been contributing and playing like veterans all tournament long. But you never know. I mean, maybe Krzyzewski wants these guys to kind of start slow, get in the feel of the game, not get too unnerved. They are still freshmen, even though they're fantastic, and maybe you get a slow start. Which is what Michigan State wants anyways, and that could be enough to get us to the under here. So there's some good cases here for the under, mostly focused on Michigan State's defense.
Both these teams have proven they can do big things with their offensive games, but Michigan State has also proven how capable their defense is of holding these teams back. I'm just not sure on this one, Dave. How do you see this game playing out?
I think that we're going to see an under. I know there's 152 points in the first meeting, but I think everything went well for both sides in terms of offense then. I don't think we're going to see anything like that in this spot. You've got Duke, who shot 54% the first time around. Michigan State shot 50. I don't think we see that. I think we see Michigan State dominate the pace. I think we see a slow pace. I think we see a defensive struggle, ugly at times in terms of offense. And I think we get an under in this Final Four matchup.
All right then, guys, grab up that total while it's still high and it's not moving around too much here. We've got 139, and you can find that at 5 Dimes or Bet365. Dave, thanks so much for hanging out with us today, offering your free picks on the NCAA Tournament's Final Four matchups.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys, and hey, don't miss his totals picks on the Wisconsin versus Kentucky showdown as well. You can find that by following the links below of this video. Good luck on your picks for the Final Four, guys, and until next time, this is Megan Rochester for SBRpicks.com.